Welcome back to the Spindle. Today we're joined with the wonderful Catherine Kelly, whose creative world spans millinery, supplies, teaching, and a very special annual event, Hattember. Over the years, the competition has become a lovely way to spark imagination, encourage creativity, and celebrate the many different voices within millinery. Catherine, we are so delighted to have you with us today. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me along.
One of my favourite questions to start with is, what are you currently working on?
At the moment, we've got a sort of a desk full of bespoke pieces that we're preparing for Royal Ascot and lots of families going overseas for weddings. So that's really fun. And I'm also planning a shop front upgrade, which is a little bit overdue, but I'm very excited about that as well. And in Hatters, we're preparing, well, of course, our orders every day because we try and get them out in the post before the 3 o'clock deadline. And we're also preparing for the Hats Off to Ballarat, which we're very excited about.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing and so exciting. I'm sure all of your customers for Royal Ascot are going to look incredible.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see what you do with the shop front as well. That's very exciting. I have been to visit Hatters and the atelier, so I know whatever you do is going to be gorgeous and a feast for any milliner's eyes. So, Catherine, for anyone who doesn't know, you host the most incredible event every year called Hattember. Can you tell us a little bit about Hattember, how it first started, and how it has evolved over the years?
So initially, I started Hattember as an Instagram competition, 30 days Hat September, and trying to encourage people to wear hats. And I thought I could link it to a little fundraising activity for our fund, the John Skipper Kelly Fund, which is in honor of my late husband. So it was a way of kind of giving back, helping set up a program that I felt, you know, in incorporated my passion for millinery as well. And then when I purchased Hatter's Millinery Supplies, Jenny had always run this amazing competition at the Hats Off conventions, and there will be a little sneak peek one this year as well, called the Tutor Challenge. And that involved all the tutors at the event being given a hat box full of things, and you opened the box and had to come up with creating a hat within 3 hours. And that was a real challenge, and I thought, I wonder how I can incorporate this into Hattember and our millinery. And so what's evolved today is, we send out a curated bag of materials to the registrants, and they get inspired by the materials that are in the bag. So that's kind of how it's evolved.
Went to my very first convention in Brisbane. I remember the tutors frenetically trying to make a hat in 3 hours, and I always wondered how on earth they could make such incredible creations in 3 hours. So it's great that your students have a little bit more time up their sleeves to think about the themes and everything. I know, Catherine, that picking your favorite hats is like choosing favorite children, but do you have some standout entries over the past years?
I've gone over all those 700 pieces in the last few days, and really it's very difficult to choose, but I have selected some that really stood out to me for their originality, their creativity, and that just sort of special wow factor that I love.
I think we've got some
Yeah.
pictures of some of your favorites.
Just the most gorgeous lobster hat, made in 2023 by Olya Ryjenko. I just love the spontaneity. I just thought it was so joyful.
It's a really fabulous hat. It just, you can't help but smile when you see that one.
Exactly, and you can see it in the model's face as well, can't you? How
Mhm.
you just enjoyed putting it on. This again now beautiful model Kirsten. I love this piece by Janetta Rositano. This was in our bridal category in 2022, and nothing more delicate or simple. We provided lace for this, and she constructed this. It was just such a delight, honestly. It's beautiful and beautifully constructed, beautifully made, and it was just beautiful to wear.
Feels like it's about to get swept up.
It does, yeah. And I love this lovely piece by Maya Svensson. in 2022 was called To Loved Ones, and again, that just summed up the mood. I think that was that a COVID-y time when we were just
Yes.
needing that little feeling of love, but it was just so delicate, and I loved that the flow of the ribbons and the simplicity, but it was gorgeous. We ran a wearable art category a few times, trying to encourage people to think about millinery materials in a clothing sense. And, we do see that throughout different people's collections, but I think Rachel Cherry really, really captured something special when she created this collar. And that was using ginseng, which is quite a, difficult material to make something amazing.
So unique. I can just imagine it walking down a runway.
Yeah, totally. And this little piece was Deborah Lobsey in the Student Award in 2020. All those little circle discs, she'd made them all by hand and they were absolutely perfect. And then this little pom-pom made out of veiling was just gorgeous. I don't know, it was, again, simple but clean, beautifully made, and just looked fabulous.
Anyone who's made one hat base can understand how much work that would be just to finish one of those bases, let alone how many they are. So that's incredible.
And this was such a delightful piece by Lisa Hughes in 2020, and she called it Tolopino, the little mouse. I just thought it was just so fresh and lovely and wearable. I would put that on and wear it every day.
Good conversation starter when you're doing some grocery shopping.
Absolutely. Everyone needs one for shopping as well. This, again, the amount of work in this unbelievably astonishing hat and difficult material to work with. James King um, titled this piece The Tidebreaker, and it was in the Cowgirl Chic category in 2025. Beautiful.
Now, I was lucky enough to be there last year and to help the judging because I was a guest tutor. I was very spoiled to be there. And guys, I have to say, this piece is beautiful in the photo, but it was incredible in the flesh. The detail was so unbelievable. And from memory, I think he even had a scent attached to it. So when you picked up the hat, you could smell some perfume or something. I think that's correct. And the liner was beautiful and just, yeah, it was absolutely so much work and so much detail on all angles of the hat. So that one was definitely one of my favorites as well, Catherine.
As we said, we could have chosen 10 from every year. Also, with those pieces, the inside was amazing as well, but the internals of these hats were fabulous. This piece, Eclipse, by Melnick Maria Carmen, in the Celestial Couture category, it's unbelievably constructed dragon made out of crin on a beautiful rust parasisal. It just summed the mood of the whole thing. The story she told, we just couldn't take our eyes off it, could we? It was just wonderful.
Yeah, this one was my favorite. Hard to pick favorites, but this one you could just see obviously the size and scale of it was incredible.
Mm.
But the dragon was perching on top of the hat, but the tail went through the hat, and each part of the spine and everything, all the wiring, all the crinoline, the way that it was constructed in a 3D effect was just such incredible detail, wasn't it, Catherine? I remember we put it up on the shelf so it kind of just like observed everyone, and it was an incredible piece. So it's beautiful to be in the presence of some of these talented milliners and their creativity sparked by the little parcel that you sent them, Catherine. So
It's
I loved that.
it really is exciting. I just love this piece by Cynthia Jones Bryson. She titled it Paris in Autumn, a beautiful velour fur felt capellan, and this is what she did with the capellan. I mean, it's just gorgeous. It was just so spontaneous. I guess that's what it is I love about the that's my thing that I love in each of them, that's spontaneity.
These leaves, were they made out of the felt, not feathers, Catherine?
Yes, she cut up the felt to make
Oh,
this.
wow. See,
Yeah.
unless you're there and you can get closer to the image, you would immediately think it was biot feathers, or is that not
Yeah,
biot?
it was
What are they called?
but
Coke feathers. Yeah.
Cynthia's, like, signature is using a lot of feathers in her work, but I think this was
Yes, she's tricked
lovely
us.
to read. Yes, yeah. No, it was just so lovely.
Mm.
Yeah.
It sounds even more incredible now knowing that it would have been, textural, not just
Yeah.
feathers. So I love that.
This piece as well was in the cowgirl chic category from 2025, and I again, the workmanship on this piece was inspiring and impeccable, and it was just divine. Well done, Blake.
You see the cowgirl trend has been really popular of late, and I can definitely see people wearing this. And if you look really closely on the crown of the hat, there's actually a little perforated star detail there. So it was all the little very fine details here. The attention to detail was incredible. So, you have to look closely at these hats. They're all very tricky, but in person,
Yeah,
it's just incredible to see what people can come up with and the
absolutely.
skills.
Yeah, and, of course, all of those hats were wearable. If you can't wear the hat, if it's not comfortable, then it doesn't really work. So that's important in the judging criteria as well, obviously.
I absolutely loved seeing the creativity sparked by the categories you had selected for last year's event. We'd love to hear what this year's categories include.
Well, this year, and this is the big announcement, that we've been working hard to come up with a plan because it is a big decision every year. This year, we've decided for the millinery category, paradox and illusion. So we've been
Mm.
looking up things for that. And the novice category is eras and icons. So we felt they were both broad enough to kind of make people whet their thinking, their appetite for making something really creative. Yeah.
What fantastic themes. I can't wait to see what everyone comes up with. But I guess they will be constrained by the materials as well. So
Well, that
that's one thing you've got these ideas buzzing already, but it will come down to the materials. And it's
absolutely.
incredible to see how different they can all interpret those materials. Do you have some ideas of what the prizes might be for the students?
Hackers always gives a lot of prizes for each category, for each, and also for first, second, and third. We have a packing room prize and some encouragement awards as well. And we do have some great prizes lined up. So Hatters, of course, as I mentioned, the Hat Magazine and Hat Academy. Millinery Australia offer a prize, and we also offer workshops from some celebrated milliners. And of course, you will have received the all important rosette.
Sometimes that's the favorite thing. I know just the same with the women who win the sashes in the fashion on the field. It's
Absolutely.
something really special to take away. But also, all of those prizes sound amazing. For anyone watching and thinking Hattember sounds like something I'd love to get involved in this year, what's the best place to find the details and register, Catherine?
So we put all the details and the registration details to enter on under Learn on the Hatters Millinery Supplies website. So the two categories that we're doing this year will be listed there, and you can register for the competition, and that means that we'll send you a bag of goodies. Um, the other place to look out for, of course, is to follow our Instagram feed. So we do have a dedicated Hattember feed, and we do have a dedicated we put notifications on the Hatters Millinery Supplies as well. There is also a Hattember website that you can go onto, and we do list details on there as well for you. So it's worth having a little look there because we keep a, a registry, I suppose, of all the hats over the years, which is really fun to see, all the winners and yeah, little updates.
Now, without giving away too much, what can guests expect from the Hattember Gala night? And is it open to anyone who'd like to come along?
Yes, of course, we do send out invitation, but it's you just need to RSVP and come along. It's a bit of limited capacity in our studio space, but we clear it out as much as possible to get as many people, plus all display a display of the beautiful hats, of course, which that's what everybody loves to see on the night, and we announce the winners. We do also do a live Instagram, feed that night so that people, from overseas or wherever can see the announcement of the winners. But we do little competitions, but it's just a great gathering. It's become a bit of a social point, which I'm really thrilled about in the Sydney calendar. So yeah, come along. We love people coming and joining us and seeing the creativity. I also put all of the hats go get a little spot in the window. It's become a bit of a well-known sort of my window. Everybody loves trawling past the window, and often people say, "Oh my gosh, I love that dragon hat," or "That's amazing, that hat that's in the window
Mm.
right now." So it does get a lot of local interest as well, which is wonderful.
You certainly were able to cram a lot of hats in there last year, as well as a lot of excited people coming to admire them. And it was great. A bit of champagne and a bit of canapes. It was just a delight. So, for anyone wanting to attend the gala, definitely RSVP and add that to your calendar. Now, I know quite often the Airbnb won't be free on the night of the gala, but for anyone who just loves millinery and wants to stay in Sydney around that time, or maybe a bit later in the year, or you want to come and check out your beautiful studio shop and atelier. Can you tell us a little bit about the Airbnb that you have, Catherine?
It's a 1910 terraced house, really, shop front, like, people used to live upstairs and have the shop downstairs, so that's exactly what it is, a shop front terrace, and I've done it out with all sorts of lovely millinery paraphernalia, which to my, session with collecting millinery memorabilia or stuff that just comes to me. But I've used that as a touch point for styling the house as well, the apartment. So it's a three-bedroom apartment and it's really close to the city. So it's really a 5-minute bus journey to the city. And it's also the area that I'm in is really vibrant. It's got a local Saturday market, and there's lots of vintage and shops in the area, and lots of artisan shops as well. The best chocolate shop on the peninsula. We have so much to offer, so it's a really great place to stay.
And you can come and visit Catherine, so it's a double bonus.
Yeah.
There's gorgeous cafes and yes, some vintage stores as well. So you definitely need to plan a bit of extra time into your calendar next time you are coming into Sydney. Catherine, thank you so much for joining us today. Hattember is such a joyful way to bring milliners together, and I know many of us will be very excited to follow along, take part, or perhaps even come along to the gala. So thank you so much for coming today, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sophie. It was lovely to chat with you this morning.